it's one thing to be competing in swimming when there's no physical consequences. And what I mean by that is that even though it's a dude that's competing against a woman, the woman has no chances of getting injured by the dude. It's not fighting. But what happens when it is fighting? Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are people that have competed in fighting as men. So they were men, transitioned into a woman, and then they fought women. I don't care what anybody says. Even you can take a woman that is 5'5", 130 pounds, and you will take a dude that's 5'5", 130 pounds. Same weight, same height. They do not look the same at all. Their shape is completely different. You can see it with your bare eyes.
This is the Nico Lagan Show. Warning. This show contains explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. Real, raw, and shooting you straight. This is the Nico Lagan Show. And now your host, Nico.
So physically, men are stronger, they're bigger, they're taller, their bone density is higher, so is their muscle density. We are more competitive, we're more aggressive by nature because of that beautiful substance that we call testosterone is running through our body. Although this to me is a complete ludicrous question to even be asking, I still will do it because I keep on hearing about it and I'm tired of it. And this needs to be addressed. Should biological male be allowed to compete against women? I'm not going to ruin the surprise for you, but hell the fuck no. They should not. Welcome to the Nico Lagan Show. I'm your host, Nico Lagan. I want to start with a study that was published in the Journal of Applied Sociology. Sorry, there was. I want to start with the study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that on average men had 26 pounds more skeletal muscle than women. Women were on average 40% weak. I don't know that weaker is the right term, but women had 40% less upper body strength and 33% less lower body strength. In 1993, the European Journal of Applied Physiology researchers concluded that the height and weight differences between women and men weren't the only reason men were stronger. That if you look at a large cross section of their muscle, we carry more muscle fiber than women do. So we are bigger, we are stronger, we are faster. We have a physiology that is different from the one of women. And this is a fact. This is not emotion. This is not me that believes that this is how it is. This is what science shows us. You know, there's been debates right now. One of the proponents being Riley Gaines. I don't know if you guys know who Riley Gaines is, but she is a 12-time All-American swimmer. And for the people that are watching me off Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you can see I will share my screen because I have a bunch of pictures that I want to show you today to put everything into context. So let me share my screen here for a second for the people that are on Instagram. Just know that Riley Gaines, if you want to Google her, she, as I said, 12-time All-American. She is one of the best in the US. And she stands at 5'7", 130 pounds, which I think that for most people, they believe that this is average, but she is a bigger girl than the average. For the people on the stream, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Last year at the NCAA tournament, she competed against a biological male by the name of Leah Thomas. Here's a picture of Leah Thomas right here. We are talking about somebody that is 6'1", 185 pounds. Riley Gaines, 3-inch taller than the average woman, the average being 5'4", is 5'7". Leah Thomas, biological male. The average for a male in the United States is 5'9". He stands at 6'1". You can tell right here, we are not looking at the frame of a woman. We are looking at the frame of a dude. I am 6'1", about 205 pounds right now. So we are talking about him and I have 20 pounds difference at the moment. Here is an interesting picture that needs to be shared more. And for the people on Instagram, I invite you to Google Riley Gaines versus Leah Thomas at the NCAA 2022 last year, just to see the size difference we are talking about here. It is incredible. For the people watching the stream, how is this not ridiculous? Look at the size of that guy. 6'1", 185 pounds. Riley Gaines is the one in the middle at 5'7", about 130 pounds. And I did not catch the name of the third woman, but you can see that number 2 and number 3 about the same size, right? Look at the size difference of the first one. It makes no sense. It is absolutely freaking ludicrous that these 3 people are allowed to compete with each other. It blows my mind. And I'm curious, for the people watching, for the people listening right now, what do you guys think? Like, look at the picture, Google, and I apologize for the people on Instagram, but Google Leah Thomas and Riley Gaines at the NCAA last year. Like, this is ridiculous. 6'1" compared to 5'7". We are talking of 55 pounds difference. And if we go back at what Leah Thomas looks like, there's no fat there. That's lean. She's not, or he's not a big fat guy. It's swimming. You can't carry a lot of weight when you're a swimmer. That's all you do. You burn so many calories. It's crazy. But look at their sizes. Riley Gaines, Leah Thomas. Leah Thomas, Riley Gaines, and the woman, and I apologize that I don't know her name, that finished third last year at the NCAA. Those are the size difference. I want to go even further than this. I want to show you somebody that arguably is, I would argue, that he is the best Olympian of all time. He is the most decorated swimmer of all time, arguably the GOAT Olympian of all time. We are talking about none others than Michael Phelps. Swimming royalty. This is Michael Phelps. 6'4", 198 pounds. You tell me against who Riley Gaines should be competing and who Leah Thomas should be competing. So this is Michael Phelps showing off all of his medals just to show how good he is, because he is that fucking great. But for the people on Instagram, again, worth Googling. 6'4", let's call it 200 pounds. Close enough, right? This is Leah Thomas at 6'1", 185. Between 185 and 190, I just went down just for sake of argument. And then you have Riley Gaines at 5'7", 130 pounds. And people out there's some people out there that tell me that there's no difference here. That this, oh, you know what? Leah Thomas took estrogen. He made sure that to take pills to change his body into a woman. You know what? It doesn't change anything. Once you've gone through puberty, you can try to change it all you want. It will simply not matter. If you went through puberty as a man, there's no doubt that you will look like a dude. You will have the strength of a dude. You will have the bone density of a dude. You will have the muscle density of a bone, no matter how much estrogen you actually take to try to change that. Nobody can argue this. This is pure science. You can see the science everywhere. Unfortunately, people are scared. People are fucking scared to talk against this. People are worried. Scientists are worried to come out and say, you know what, this is not fair. And if you look, what the worst part is that everybody that's always complaining about this are never people that compete, are always people that are on the sideline. I like to call them couch quarterbacks. They tell us what we can and cannot do when they've never competed. Can you imagine the size difference that 4 inches bring to the table? 5'7". Hey, my apologies. It's 6, 7 inches different. It's crazy. It's just nuts. I do not understand how this is acceptable. What if you look at what Riley Gaines is doing right now, she's doing the right thing. There's a reason why I'm talking about her, because she's complaining about this. She is trying to raise awareness on how crazy this is. And you know what? I agree 1,000% with her. Michael Phelps agrees with her. And one of the other thing is, this is one thing, because we're talking about swimming. There's not a lot of consequences except you lose. And I don't want to downplay it. I'm not saying that it's not a big deal, because it is. Those women like Riley Gaines have been competing as a woman their whole life. And now you got guys that couldn't cut it as a as male, they go and compete against women. It's not fair. It's not fair. All the advantages are for there. And have you ever noticed that all the guys that quit competing against dudes, they actually compete against women? They were never really well ranked. They never did well against men, and somehow they become women. I'm not saying that this is what it is, but let me just say that it sounds a bit fishy to me. You tell me what you think. Let me take a couple of messages here, because it seems that people have opinions about this. The world is turning into a place where delusional and mad is encouraged, and being rational and logical is criticized, to the point of considering these people us dangerous, misogynistic. GER_RF. I agree with you, bro. It is absolutely ludicrous that we live in a world where me complaining about these type of things is seen as, you know what, I'm toxic. I'm toxic. They're gonna treat me like I have toxic masculinity. They're gonna tell me I'm misogynistic. I am a sexist. I transphobia. I everything of the above. I'm a bigot. But look at this. This is not fair. There is no way this is fair. And let me go. I'll take a few more of the pictures here, because I really want to, a few more of the comments here, because I really want to talk about this. Sun Ippy, I agree with her. Awesome. Somebody that's logical. I appreciate that. GurRF again. This needs to stop. Keep spreading common sense. It's needed nowadays. I appreciate, bro. That's exactly why I do what I do, because this is absolutely fucking ludicrous. And I have to get back to work, but keep on what you're doing. Thank you, Sanipi. Thank you very much. I do my best. I get all the flack complaining about this, but if this is what it needs, I will continue doing so. Now, there's one thing, as I was saying, it's one thing to be competing in swimming when there's no physical consequences. And what I mean by that is that even though it's a dude that's competing against a woman, the woman has no chances of getting injured by the dude. It's not fighting. But what happens when it is fighting? Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are people that have competed in fighting as men. So they were men, transitioned into a woman, and then they fought women. It to me, this is crazy. Again, it's one thing to be in swimming, but in fucking fighting in the cage. Like, I've trained martial arts for 20 years. This is fucked up. I don't care what anybody says. Even you can take a woman that is 5'5", 130 pounds, and you will take a dude that's 5'5", 130 pounds. Same weight, same height. They do not look the same at all. Their shape is completely different. You can see it with your bare eyes. But yet, this has been allowed. And let me show you some of the examples I'm talking about here. This is Fallon Fox. This is a biological male. He stands at 5'7". He was the first openly transgender mixed martial artist. The people on the stream, you can see what I'm talking about. For the people on Instagram, I highly, highly suggest that you Google Fallon Fox, and you tell me if that looks like a woman or if that looks like a dude to you. Back in 2014, this is Tamikka Brents. Back in 2013, back in 2020, oh, it was at CCCW 12 back in 2014. Fallon Fox, him, fought her biological woman. She is 5'3", which the average for a woman is 5'4". Fallon Fox is 3 inches taller than the average woman. Tamikka Brents, 5'3", about average, just a bit under average, right? They both fought at 145 pounds. And to illustrate my point, look at the size difference of how a man carries his body and how a woman carries his body. This is how they carry the weight. So again, for the people on Instagram, I apologize. You can't see my stream. You can't see the images that I'm sharing right now, but we are talking about Fallon Fox and Tamikka Brents. They fought back in 2014. Again, I highly suggest you Google it just to see what I'm talking about. But here we can see the size difference. Like, it's crazy. You look at Fallon Fox, he has the shape of a dude. You can see just at the midsection, you see how all sucked in it is. Like, he has a triangle shape like me. I have bigger shoulder, smaller waist, so it gives that triangle shape, right? You can see it in this picture. And people on the stream, feel free to comment, feel free to let me know how you feel about this. But you can see here, it is crazy, the size difference. I don't care that they have the same weight. They could be the exact same height. They would carry their weight in a completely different matter. And remember what I said earlier. Remember this. We said that on average, women are 40% weaker in the upper body and 33% weaker than a man in their lower body. That means that a man is almost twice as strong in the upper body and almost 30%, like you're talking about 33% more powerful in their legs. And you see it. You just look at the picture and you can absolutely see it. It is very easy to have the visual when you're looking at this picture. Did you know, just so you know, Fallon Fox was also ex-military. So we're not talking about just a regular dude here. We're talking about somebody that was trained in the military, that was able to join the military. Not saying that women can, because they definitely can, and if they want to, they should. But we're talking about ex-military. So we do consider our military to be manly men, don't we? Now, there's another picture here that I think is worth mentioning, and it's worth talking about what happened at that fight back in 2014, because there were serious consequences here. This wasn't just a fight that just happened and then everybody went on their way and everything was okay. No, 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 no. We're talking about serious consequences here. Tamikka lost, or Fallon Fox won by TKO, meaning the other person wasn't unconscious, but she got on top of her and she banged her until the referee called stop. You know what Tamikka Brent suffered from? She suffered a concussion for being banged in the head, quite common for fighters, unfortunately. She got her orbital bone broken. Orbital bone is literally, if you look at the camera, if you're on the MP3, I apologize, but if you look at the camera, it's the bone that is right behind your eye socket. So right underneath here is your orbital bone. And she suffered, this is what we call a broken skull, because this is part of the skull. This is meant to protect your brain. So this, technically, she suffered a broken skull. And again, for my people on Instagram, for the people on the stream, you can see it. The picture that we're looking at right now is the result of that fight. This is what happened to Fallon Fox opponent, Tamikka Brents. She suffered. She had to have seven staple put in her head, and if you look at her eyes, I've had a broken orbital bone before, and it is brutal. My eye looked like a vagina. It was literally all swollen, could not see anything. It was disgusting. And if you look at the picture right now, you will see exactly what I mean. For the people on Instagram, Google it. Google Tamikka Brent's injuries, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Um, One thing that I find completely ludicrous is this. So let me share something else here. I'll stop sharing my screen so that I can start sharing my other screen here. And here for the people on Instagram is an article that appeared last year. You know, everything is fact checks now, is fact checked. So the actual article says that did transgender MMA fighter Fallon Fox break two opponents' skulls? Fact checking the recent viral tweet, and this is something Joe Rogan has spoke about. This is something that if I remember a couple of years ago, yeah, it was in 2020. You know what the answer is to the fact check on this one? Is saying that it didn't really happen because Fallon Fox didn't break two women's skulls. She only broke one. Like, fucking Christ. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, that's okay. She didn't do it twice. She just did it once. This is the type of people out there that are for this. The people that are writing those articles, debating what I'm saying, have never fucking competing in their. They never competed in those sports. They never fucking stood toe to toe with a dude as a woman. And I can tell you, after 20 years of experience in martial art, fighting, it is not the same thing. A woman is not shaped the way a man is. The strength difference is absolutely ludicrous. We said it almost twice as much. It's fucked up. I don't understand how people can disagree with this. If there is somebody out there that disagrees with this, contact me. Let's put the glove, you and I. Let's go into a fucking ring and see what it feels like to be dominated by somebody that's bigger and that's stronger than you. I welcome it. Please let me show you how unfair that is, because you can have there's a good reason why there are, even in same sex competition, if you look at fighting, there are weight differences, there are weight classes, because all the training in the world cannot prepare you for somebody that's bigger and stronger than you. If you are equal when it comes to skills, strength will play a massive fucking difference. Why do you think wrestlers are so successful in MMA? Because those guys have been swinging dudes around on their shoulders since they've began to wrestle. Those guys are strong as fuck. And a 145-pound guy is a lot fucking stronger than a 145-pound woman. There's another thing I want to share here, and for the people on Instagram, it is another picture that I found. And for the people on the stream, to give you a bit of context, this is another MMA fighter that is transgender. We are talking about a biological male, ex-Navy SEALs, Alan McLaughlin, also known now as Elena McLaughlin. 6 feet tall, 196 pounds. If you see the picture right now that I'm showing, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely fucking nuts that a guy that could carry that much muscle mass was allowed to compete against women. Absolutely fucking ludicrous. Makes no fucking sense. No sense at all. How is this acceptable? It shouldn't be. This is common fucking sense. What is going on with people that accept this? This is craziness. This is absolutely crazy. Let me say this. I don't know if this is clear up to now, but let me say this. Biological males have no place in women's sports. Leave those fucking sports to women. There's what's her name? Brittany Griner, WNBA player, said recently that it is a crime to stop transgender men to compete against women. It's a crime. You know what? That's fucking bullshit. The only crime that's happening right now is that we allow males to compete against women. Those women have been training their whole life to become the best in their division, the best in their sport, maybe the best ever. Maybe that's their goal. But we're allowing subpar competition that were male. In male competition, all those males never did very well. But yet they transitioned to being a woman, and they're fucking kicking asses. They are beating up or beating up and fighting, beating in other sports where contact is not an issue, but they are dominating because they are males and they have male attributes. It's that fucking simple. It's really that fucking simple. And this is a crime to me. This is absolutely crazy that this is allowed. And, let me tell you this. I'm a big proponent of taking responsibility, of owning your shit. And if you're like me and you disagree with this, talk, stand up, say something, do something. This is what I'm doing right now because this needs to stop. I competed in sports my whole life. I was competitive basketball, not that great of a player. I'll be the first one to admit to that. And I also competed as a martial artist. I competed as a Muay Thai guy. And I'm telling you right now, this is not right. A woman cannot be in the ring with a dude. Same thing as women should not be competing with biological males. It's ludicrous. And if you guys agree with this, stand up, say something, start. Let me say this. You have to believe that you are powerful beyond measure. You have the power to change this. If you don't agree, if you're like me and you don't agree with this, do something. Say something. Stand up. It's up to you to be the change you want to see in the world. And if you don't believe that that works, let me share something else with you. There is this beautiful article that Josie sent to me earlier. And for the people on Instagram, I suggest that you look into it. It is an event that was supposed to take place in Great Britain, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, exactly. It was supposed to be at a British cycling competition at the National Omnium Championship in Derby, Great Britain. There was a transgender individual called Emily Bridge that was supposed to compete. And you know what happened? He was banned from competing. You know why? Because the other female riders, sorry, were going to boycott the event. They didn't even need to boycott it. Just the fact that there were rumors that female riders would boycott the event, they stopped Emily Bridge, a transgender biological male, to compete with them. So this is my comment to you. This is my suggestion to you. If you do not believe that biological males should compete with biological women in their respective sports, stand up, say something about it. If you are an athlete, if you are an athlete yourself and you don't, but you're a female athlete and you don't believe that males should be able to compete against you, complain about it, boycott the event, take talk to other athletes in your division, talk to other athletes in the same tournament that you're part of, and boycott the event. Make sure that the organizers know. It could be the NCAA, it could be a local event, it could be any event that you want. But if you believe that you shouldn't be competing against men, boycott it and make sure that it's clear. Stand up for your rights. Same thing if you're a parent of a daughter or daughters that are competing in sports and now you're starting to see biological men competing against them, boycott the event. It doesn't matter which competition it is. It could be the smallest regional one or it could be something as big as the NCAA. Boycott the event, get other parents to boycott it with you. Tell the organizers that you will not stand for this. This is your right as a citizen to absolutely contest this, and it's in your power to do something. And if you're just a regular individual, write your mayor, write your congressman, write the school board in which your kids might be going to, or even the school board in the area where you reside. Do something about it. You have the power to change this. Now, I want to thank every single one of you for watching, for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you very much for being there. I want, we all know, right, that social media doesn't like opinions like mine. They block me all the time. They shadow ban me all the time. They block my content all the time. So if you really want to know what I really think, go check my website, nicolagan.com. It's mine. They can't fucking block me there. And I share my real opinions on my blog there. Today I shared my real ones, but let's see how long this is going to last. But I can tell you that if you visit my website, my real opinions are there, and they're uncensored, they're unfiltered. This is exactly what I think. So go visit my blog at nicolagan.com. And again, thank you for every single one of you out there. I really appreciate you. And know this, and always remember this, that the world is changed one man at a time, and one man has the power to change the world.
You've been listening to the Nico Lagan Show. Nico has been involved in the martial arts for 20 years. He's a Muay Thai coach, focus coach, podcaster, and sought-after public speaker. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten some useful and practical information. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Coach Nico Lagan and on YouTube at The Nico Lagan Show. See you next time.